Happy 2026.
It is Happy New Year, yeah.
We are back from an extended break, and this time it was Shorty's pick. I have to say I was pleasantly surprised by this because I think I told you that when I was in college, all the indie kids loved and talked about this movie. I'd hear about it in dining hall and around class and, out in Kalamazoo every once in a while, and I never saw it. And I think I sort of forgot about it for a while because it's an Italian movie, and it has some, it was shot, when was it shot?
Well, it came out in 1988, so...
It looked like it was made in the 70s, though.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But we're talking, I would say, of course, but that's such a passé way of introducing a movie that nobody knows what you're talking about. We're talking about Cinema Paradiso. And again, this was Luis's pick. I guess it was on your list. We made a list of 10 movies each that we want to review for this part of the year. And you didn't show me your list. Because didn't I tell you I didn't want to see it? I wanted to be surprised.
Yeah, I don't recall us talking about sharing lists. I didn't see yours.
Okay, so what piqued your interest in this movie? I mean, you've seen it before, but apparently there were a couple releases of this, and there was one that was the studio cut it way, way down to improve its pacing, but the one we saw was the director's cut, which was much longer, which services the ending of the romantic relationship that the main character has.
So, if I go way back to the beginning, probably about, honestly, at least 20 years ago, my cousin had told me that this was her very favorite movie. She's really big into Italian culture and Italian language, and she said, "You've got to see this movie," because she couldn't believe that I had never seen it before, being that I really love the movies. But I don't ever recall hearing about it. Anyway, cut to, I go to the library one day and I'm like, I have to find this movie. So I find this movie and I, check it out, take it home, watch it. And the next morning, it was like a work day or whatever. And the next morning, I'm telling my mom before I leave the house, I'm like, you have to watch this movie. We didn't have any means to watch a DVD except for her. I mean, I had my laptop upstairs in my room, but she could watch it on the computer. I said, you have to watch this movie. You have to watch this movie today, because I have to take it back to the library or something. I made it sound really serious, even though it wasn't. And she did. I came home from school or work or whatever that day, and she said, I watched that movie. You're right. It was very, very good. But so I watched it, and just that one time, because I wanted to see what it was all about. And then recently it just piqued my interest again because we were making our lists of movies that we were going to watch for our podcast. And I'm just thinking of more movies that I've loved over the years and maybe that you haven't seen, probably not. So I just wrote it down. And I just think that there are many things about this movie that make it a movie to watch.
I could tell you got a little emotional towards the end of it. In fact, I think you said you're going to cry at this, which it didn't have that effect on me, but I can understand why someone would be.
I didn't say you were going to cry. I just
you
said,
didn't?
No, I just said I might cry. I said I put the tissues next to me.
Oh, okay. Well, you can tell me if I'm messing any of this up. Giuseppe Tornatore was our director. 1988 film Cinema Paradiso. Celebrated Italian-French.
Yeah, I just
drama.
saw that too. Italian-French, interesting.
I didn't know what the influence of the French was on this movie because it was set in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
explores the deep connection between a young boy and a village projectionist. Now, you used a number of sources for our Notebook LM. On it. You used like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, I used 10.
Oof.
But Notebook LM keeps updating, and every time that we've used it for the last, I don't know, 2 months or something, there's at least one new feature. And one of the, excuse me, and one of the new features is that you can go find your own sources, but you can also just put in a title or words or a question or something, and it will find sources for you regarding whatever you put in the search box.
Is that what you did?
I just let it do that. And actually, because I really like what it brings up. It brings up things that I wouldn't have searched. You know how when we did the Untouchables, that's the first time I think I used it. Also, wasn't that long ago. But anyway.
Let's see. The detailed screenplay that highlights the movie's nostalgic narrative for its various award-winning cuts. Again, they did a number of these. I guess the first cut was released in Italy, or first and second, and it just tanked.
Yeah, which is interesting to me.
Like nobody went to see this, and then it was recut and released internationally, and it exploded. Musical score by Ennio Morricone, which was our lead-in for this episode, specifically noting how the love theme utilizes strings and woodwinds to invoke profound sentiment. Music was beautiful, but the first half of this movie starts off with, you're going to have to help me out here to see if I can remember, because our notebook is not finished compiling. You hit the generate video button, and that's going to be running for about a day.
Oh, mine's done.
Oh, is it? Well, I can't. Yeah, maybe I can update here. I don't know. I want to be able to look at the timeline features so I can Oh, this is about the ending. It's going to take a minute to give us the what is that thing called? Where they give us, it breaks down the entire movie.
The mind map.
The mind map, yeah. It doesn't give it to us directly anymore. You got to keep updating it. But it starts off in this post World War II Italian town, and what's our
town.
This is the funny thing about Italy after World War II. It looks like a war, like the whole country looks war torn. Like there are standing buildings, but a lot of the roads have rubble in them and are busted up. It doesn't look like there's much in the way of work anywhere. And
I don't know what these people do all day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because it looks like a lot of them just kind of run around and.
But
I mean, you don't see a lot of people doing work.
But it also doesn't look like anyone's struggling to survive.
But when they're talking about money, they're haggling about like a few lira.
Yeah.
So, what's our kid's name?
Salvatore.
Salvatore he's probably like 6 or 7, and he's got a younger sister and a single mother, and his father is off in the war and has been lost in Russia, and you eventually find out that he was consumed by the war. Mother is heartbroken because she's waiting for him to come back, and Salvatore escapes his reality at the local Cinema Paradiso, which is the movie theater right downtown. And it's funny to see how this theater was set up with people there was just loose chairs. There were no chairs built into the ground or pews or anything. There was just stacks of chairs, and some people would stand up, some people would hang over the balcony. There was no
I think in the balcony there were those kind of chairs, though.
Yeah, but I mean on the floor, a lot of people would just stand and watch a movie. And
anywhere they could.
Right, and the projectionist, Alfredo, and Salvatore, they don't have the greatest relationship starting off, but this is the fun thing about older Italian movies, is just the emotions are they're relayed like very quickly. You know, like they two characters can be having like a heart-to-heart chat, and then like very quickly one of them gets upset with something and retaliates and switches the mood immediately. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where there was one scene where Salvatore is he's trying to relate something about growing up to, or Alfredo is trying to relay something to Salvatore about growing up, and they have this tight moment, and then Salvatore he takes something from him and runs outside, and Alfredo is immediately angry and yells at him, and then Salvatore's like, "Fuck you."
He is.
So, but I mean, it's like in like a typical Hollywood movie, that emotion would be carried through to the end of the scene.
Yeah.
But I've seen this in other Italian movies, like the old spaghetti westerns. They would flip. They would they'd turn these emotions on a dime. And I'm kind of off track here, but they have this.
But it's cultural. It's. I mean, I think it's appropriate. It relates.
Yeah.
The way they talk, the way they gesture, like you said, their emotions.
They have these. There's funny characters throughout this movie, because so much of this movie is built up around Salvatore's growing up in this busted up town, and he spends all of his time at the cinema, and he kind of pesters Alfredo to teach him how to be a projectionist, and Salvatore doesn't really want to teach him.
You got an opposite, but yeah.
Say again.
You got an opposite. Alfredo is a
projectionist.
And Salvatore wants to learn from Alfredo.
Names are tough for me, in case you haven't figured it out already. So I wondered about this before we listened to the LM review, but as you go throughout the movie, towards the end of the movie, Salvatore falls in love with Elena. And about halfway through the film, there is a tragedy at the theater, and Alfredo loses his sight. And he kind of takes this tack with Salvatore that he has to leave town and never look back, and run towards his future, and looking into the past and looking into nostalgia is bad. And Salvatore reaches out to Elena because Elena's parents don't want her to
have a relationship with Salvatore.
Yeah, and he asks her to make one. Is this when he's going to war? This is a long movie. This is like a 3-hour movie. He asks her to come by the theater one last time.
Yes, you're right. Before he's going to war,
and it appears as if she doesn't.
It does. It appears as if she doesn't.
And then you find out, and this was in the director's cut, not in the original cut. In the original cut, I guess they didn't address. He just had this woman he was in love with, and her parents moved her away, and that was the end of the relationship. And you're left in that, whatever that cut was, the non-director's cut, to think that this was just a love that was intense and then just faded away like love does when you're young. But I guess the director's cut, they spent a lot of time with Salvatore as an adult, and they furthered that plot line. He chased down, he bumps into a girl in his old town who has a striking resemblance to Elena, and it turns out
the older Salvatore when he comes back.
Salvatore, right? When he comes back, he comes back because Alfredo has passed, and he comes back to assist with the burial, and he encounters this girl who looks like Elena, and it turns out this is Elena's daughter, and Elena has married an old school chum of Salvatore's, and he reaches out to her. And again, all of this is not addressed or even shown in the edited version. This is just completely left out. But he reaches out to her, and they have a I wouldn't say a tryst. They meet up and have a passionate exchange, and he has a moment where he's like, "You left me. You just, like, I asked you to meet me one last time at the cinema, and you never showed up." And you find out that she, in fact, did show up and professed her love for Salvatore to Alfredo. Said, I have to go, but will you please tell him to contact me at through my friend, and I'll write it on, or I'll leave you. And no, she didn't say that. She just said that she wanted to maintain a relationship with him, and
her way of doing that was leaving her.
Yeah, but she initially didn't write anything down.
Oh, she went back.
Yeah, Alfredo.
That's right.
Alfredo was like, "You got to forget about him."
Yep, move on.
Love, like, even if it's intense, it burns up and it goes to ashes. And when you hear this, like, at the very end of the movie, you're like, "What the fuck?" Like, he's supposed to be his mentor, and you realize that he's really a complex character. He is trying to. He does ultimately want a future for Salvatore, but he goes about it in kind of a nihilistic method. He tells this girl to just forget about it, and then when Salvatore is leaving his town, they're at the train station, and he says kind of the same thing to him. He's like, don't ever look. He's very emphatic about it. He's like, don't look, but don't come back here. Don't call here. Don't call your parents. Don't call anything. Don't nothing. Which is just kind of, it's like when you see that, you're like, why is he being like that?
Yeah, you definitely feel that way when you see it. I think upon further thinking about it, I think he's also sort of channeling his personal life. Like, he was, I'm under the impression, born and raised in this town, and has never ever left. And then he had this accident, and this accident left him blind. And
even before that, he didn't, like, he felt like he just kind of, he wasn't in love with this job. He's like, it's a hard job. It's not what you think it is. It's not that great.
But he did it because I think that the people of the town needed the movies. And so he was like, I'm not going to do it.
Right. So, Elena did come back.
Oh, yes.
She did come back. She started to come back up the stairs, but at the top of the stairs there was one room where all the receipts were stuck on the wall. On the other side of that room is where Alfredo sat. And so she took one of the receipts and wrote on the receipt a note to Salvatore and where she could be found. This whole room is just receipts stacked upon receipts nailed into a wall. And she just puts them on a random nail facing the wall. Yeah. And, like, you're looking at that, and I'm thinking to myself, how in the hell was he ever going to find that?
And all the pieces of paper look the same. Nothing is, there's no, what do you call it, identifying factor.
Yeah, nothing. And when she tells him this, he goes back to the Paradiso, which is in ruins at this point. It's old and busted up and
hasn't been used for years.
And he goes up to the projection room to where there's still receipts in there. And what I found funny about just how they executed this is he's picking up all these receipts off the ground. He's not looking at them. He's just throwing them around. And he happens to grab one pile off a wall and sift through it, and he finds the note. It's just how they did that. Like, you know what? You would think he would be going through each one, like, one by one. But he finds it, and he reads it. He's like, oh, my God. It's like, the love that I had, I didn't lose, I was kind of pushed away from me by Alfredo, which is, you have to wonder if that, like, at least for that little chunk at the end of the movie, if it made him question his relationship with Alfredo. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because he was this mentor that it was so beloved.
Yeah.
And he listened to him when he moved away, but then he's like, you knew I loved this girl, and she came to see me, and you told me she wasn't here. Mm-hmm. That really kind of bummed me out about that character. Like, I understand.
Yeah, that he had that.
Yeah, that, like, it was just kind of, I'm not even sure what the right words would be for it. Like, he doesn't see Salvatore's, like, there's no dynamic component to what he sees in Salvatore's. Like, it's not like he didn't see him as someone who could weigh options, as someone who could say, look, I love this person, but I have to go make my future. So I'll figure out a way to incorporate her in that later. He just assigns her to, she's part of this town. This is part of his present and his past, not his future. I'm deciding to cut her out, which kind of adds a dark element to what his relationship was with Salvatore. But at the end, he gives him this beautiful gift of, I didn't even realize that what those clips really represented until we listened to the review on LM. Do you know what I mean about all the kisses that
that had been saved, well, sort of saved, that the priest had cut out?
Yeah, the priest was the censor, and the priest kind of, when Salvatore was a kid, acted as the censor for whenever the movies were sent by the distributor to the cinema. The priest would review them, and anytime there was any act of passion or a kiss between a man and a woman, he had to shut it down. He'd ring a bell, and Alfredo had to cut it out.
The priest would preview all the movies before they were even shown in the movie theater. I also think it's worth noting that I think the cinema, the movies, was a fundraiser for the church.
Which is, it's really kind of, these people don't have any money to begin with. None. Like, and the church just vacuums up all money. Of it. And they can't even allow them to enjoy the experience completely. They got to cut out all the fun stuff, all the action of all the movies. Yeah, and
everybody's sitting there in the audience hanging on, like, every scene, and then, like, something gets started and then it stops.
Like, whenever there's going to be a passionate exchange or a kiss between two people, it just gets, you would think that, well, I mean, that's the thing with the movie. It's a story. It can be written however the writer wants to write it, but you would think the townspeople would be like, hey, Padre, stop doing that. Like, we're giving you the money. We're not giving you money for half the product.
Right.
But, so, I mean, we're kind of giving you just, like, bits and pieces of the highlights of the movie. I don't want to give away too many plot points, but there was, like, when the tragedy occurred, where Alfredo lost his sight, that had to, without telling you what it was, it did kind of mark the changing of the guard from him running that job to Salvatore taking it over. Because the fire that started was because of one piece of technology that was replaced by another. I wouldn't say this was what I was surprised to hear that it was cut down for pacing, because I thought it moved at a pretty understandable clip. Like, the bulk of the movie is, it's almost like it's in 3 parts.
Yeah.
It's like he's a 6-year-old, he's a teenager doing teenage stuff.
He's an adult, yeah.
And then you don't find out till the very end. I don't think that he becomes a director.
Yeah, till the very end.
And he has this successful career in Rome.
Till he returns home.
Right. And that whole chunk, that adult portion of his life, is cut out in the edited version.
It's almost like there are chapters, because I don't know if we've already said it, but the movie starts with an older, with the adult Salvatore, and sort of introduces his character, and then, like we've said several times, he gets a call from his mom to tell him that Alfredo has died, and that's where the whole movie starts. Or it goes back, I should say, to his childhood of growing up in that little town.
It's kind of a nostalgic memory of, he has to review before he gets home who this person is, how they met. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was... Oh, you know what else I didn't do this time?
A recipe?
I didn't.
You didn't think about that.
Well, let me see what else was left out of what we talked about. In what ways do different film versions impact the story's emotional narrative arc? This is the fun thing about using Notebook, is it gives you perspectives that you wouldn't normally come up with in talking with people.
Which I really love, because I need more talking points than just the basics of the plot.
So here's the theatrical version. Cut emphasizes the love affair with the movies, focuses on the bond between young Toto, which is Salvatore, and projectionist Alfredo, framing the story as an essay in childish delight and adolescent longing. Romantic subplot with Elena remains a poignant but unresolved memory. The director's cut, it is resolved, which, quite honestly, I guess, depending on who you talk to and who reviewed it, some people like the theatrical version better, but I don't see... Personally, I don't like to see any hanging chads, if you will, with relationships. So I think if I would have seen the theatrical version, especially after having seen the director's cut, I'd be irritated.
I only just learned today in our research for our Notebook LM before this podcast episode that there were multiple versions of this. I didn't actually know that. And I mean, I don't hesitate to watch a longer international film. I mean, I've seen many movies that are very long.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even, occur to me. I could see how things would be cut or shortened from this long version, if you will, to a smaller version. But I think that the longer version is better, and it gives the whole story. I mean, some scenes I see kind of how they drag on, but, it's all important, I feel like.
Alfredo is portrayed almost exclusively as a wise surrogate father figure who mentors Toto and encourages him to leave his small town and pursue his destiny. But in the director's cut, Alfredo is revealed to have a surprising dark side. Narrative reveals that he intentionally sabotaged Salvatore's relationship with Elena by convincing her to leave and hiding a note. He didn't really hide the note. He didn't know about it, and she didn't really make it easy for him to find, which complicates the emotional arc as Toto realizes his professional success as a director was facilitated by Alfredo cheating him of true love, which I think Alfredo made a lot of assumptions about what his future would be like. Resolution of Toto's arc. In the theatrical version, ending is widely viewed as sentimental and life-affirming. When Toto reaches the kissing montage reel left by Alfredo, it serves as a joyously bittersweet reminder of his roots and pure expression of his mentor's love. In the director's cut, emotional arc concludes the more chilling note, to be an artist is to live without love, which I don't agree with at all. That sounds like somebody just constructed that.
Yeah, I don't.
Salvatore realizes he has achieved great professional success but has no success in his personal life. Now, for the story, that is true, but I don't find that to be a rule. I think it's something that is it's sort of a narrative theatrical construct for this movie, which like it framed well in the movie, but it is not true to life. I don't. There's plenty of artists who they do their best work because they love something or someone.
I think love is a big part of it.
The reunion with Elena leads to a brief encounter, but she ultimately chooses to stay with her family, leaving Salvatore to regret his choices he made for regret the choices made for him decades earlier. We talked about all that stuff. What about Alfredo's blindness and affecting Toto's role in the cinema?
You mean that once Alfredo is blinded because of the accident?
Yeah.
That Salvatore takes over?
Well, yeah. Notebooks mentions that blindness is the catalyst that transforms Salvatore from curious apprentice to the official projectionist of Giancaldo. After, well, I don't want to say that. Assumption of professional responsibility. This is what I love about Notebook, is that it expands all these little components of a movie and how they drive thematic elements that impact points of the story later on. Because Toto is the only person in town who knows how to operate the projector, he is hired as the new projectionist for the rebuilt Nuovo Cinema Paradiso. Legal workaround: he's underage, which they make a point to note in the movie. Cinema's new owner, Cicio, how do you say his last name? Spacificio?
I don't know, I'm not looking at it. That sounds good
yeah,
to me.
he's just a guy who happens to win the lottery.
Yep.
And he just gets into the theater business. He buys the theater and starts bringing in movies. And I assume he just takes the ticket sales. He officially holds the projectionist license through local connections, but Salvatore performs the actual labor and earns the wages. Toto/Salvatore continues his role for over a decade, remaining the village projectionist through his high school years. And this is kind of where the mentorship dynamic changes. Toto takes over the physical labor. Alfredo remains a constant presence. He still shows up to the projection booth. He kind of transitions into a spiritual or intellectual guide for him.
Yeah, there's not much he can do because he can't see.
Yeah, but there's still a dialogue. He's still his best friend.
No, not much that he can do physically, I guess, is what I mean, yeah.
Despite the lack of sight, Alfredo remains intimately connected with the craft. That's another funny thing they did as well. They're watching they're having a conversation, but a film is playing, and Alfredo's like, the movie's out of focus, and Toto stands up and looks out. He's like, holy shit, it is out of focus.
How did you know?
He's like, and he just kind of waves it off. He's like, I can tell. I think speaking to how, like, you do one thing long enough, you become, you're good at it without thinking about it.
Yep. Yeah, I did love that too.
Path to artistry. Ultimately, Alfredo uses his position as a blind mentor to eventually push Toto away from cinema. That's the thing, is you don't see this dark side till the very end of the movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is almost like it was kind of, I don't want to say it was shoehorned in there, but you don't see any, well, maybe that's not, because they did have he was a bit of a grump. Especially about, he did tell him earlier on in the movie, like, you don't want to do this. It's physically demanding, and there's no glory in it. It's not what you think it is. And I think he just gets more overt about that message at the very end. Mm-hmm. Was there anything about this that, did you have like a particular favorite moment or scene that you were waiting to see again? I don't know how long it's been since you've seen this.
I mean, honestly, I really think it's been like 20 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, and I only say that because I'm where I'm now. I've been for about 10 years. And, I mean, I have no idea when I would have watched it, but it was a long time ago, for sure. And honestly, I don't really remember much about it. The one thing that I remember is that the young Salvatore was like the cutest little kid I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he was adorable. This is coming from somebody who is not moved by children.
I know, I did wonder about that. I wanted to ask you if you agreed with that.
I mean, yeah, he's like, I don't have the cast list here, but perfect casting with that kid.
I mean, he was so great. I was reading some information before we started recording today, and the young, of course he was young then, but looking back on it, because this movie is now over 30 years old, he does look back on it and say that the auditioning process was very, what do people usually say, good, like grueling?
Rigorous.
Yeah, and I...
That kid said that?
Yeah, as an adult. He said he remembers that it was a lot. And then, and then, again, back to our list of movies. When I was thinking about movies that I wanted on the list before I researched other titles, I thought, this movie has to be on that list. And, I don't know, if anyone's on the fence about it, I'll just watch the preview and see how the preview grabs you. The preview makes me cry.
I remember I had a friend named Val who had since, after college, she moved to Seattle, Washington. But I remember she had a real fixation with this movie in college. She mentioned it a few times, and I think, if I were to see her now and say that, she'd be like, I didn't have any fixation. These are little pieces. The first time I heard about this movie was from her. And whenever, especially in the 90s, when you heard about a movie from somebody else, but you never saw media about it, especially as a young guy, I would be like skeptical. I'm like, this sounds foreign. I don't think so. It sounds like weepy and bleh. But I think I would appreciate it more now as a 50-year-old guy than I would as a teenager. Not so much. I think women would appreciate it at any age, but for men, I think it, like, at least me personally, I can appreciate it for the deep nostalgia of it, because it's a movie kind of constructed around. There's elements of, the choices you make when you're young and the direction that your life goes, and then you're nostalgic about the way things used to be, and where has your life ended up, and where could it have gone if such and such had happened. That's I know in my own life there's a number of things that like, oh, I should have done this or I should have done this, and it will haunt me forever. And when you see that kind of represented in somebody, like this guy ended up a famous director, and when I was a teenager, that's what I thought I wanted. And I don't even know if that's really the case. I love movies, but I don't know that I'd love that actual job. And I had, I don't want to make this about me, but he had this great career, but at the very beginning, he comes home and there's someone in his bed. I assume that was his wife. And as the movie goes on, I'm like, oh, that must be Elena. And you find out that this is just some person he's seeing. It's not like a serious relationship at all. It's just some girl, and there's been a string of them. And when he gets back to Rome, and he has the people he's working with, his staff are like, hey, this movie's coming out. It's already getting this press. We haven't released it. And he's kind of indifferent. He's like, yeah, so what? He's like, and you can tell that his focus is really on, I had someone who loved me and who I loved, and it could have been a cornerstone of my life, and it was diverted away from me. And yeah, I have this career now, but it's almost like in that scene, the scene I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's almost like he takes what he has for granted. It just doesn't have the luster to him at that point in his life that Alfredo, he wanted him to have that, and then Toto got that. It was like, this isn't really this isn't what really holds value to me anymore. I mean, not that he didn't love the movies or anything, but he regretted not having the love that he was kind of cheated out of.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on your commentary.
Well, I mean,
I do have a prompt question here from Notebook about why the local priest orders films to be censored, and I think it's just because he's a uptight Catholic priest.
Super Catholic priest, yeah. And
yeah, it's Italy in the 50s. It's super duper Catholic.
I mean, it's like one of those things like about Catholicism, like we don't talk about these things or, like, quote, show affection, but like, hello, what do you think these people are doing at their houses, at their homes?
Yeah.
Like, Catholic people are known for having a billion children.
Yeah, and Catholics are also known for being kind of hypocrites with what they preach and what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
I mean, that's kind of their stock in trade. They in public they act. What's the word I want, Louisa? Like they act pious or morally right. And then behind closed doors, they're the ones who are doing all the fucking and all the screwing around and watching porno. And it's always, 300, when that movie Spotlight came out, was like 300 some odd priests were engaged in pedophilia and doing all kinds of, which is, whenever I see something about the Catholic Church censoring anything, I'm like, you guys suck.
How could you say? Yeah,
you're just complete pieces of shit. I'm like, I don't have any other way to say it. I can't stand when I see stuff like that because I know that it's a organization that's so influenced and run by hypocrites. Notebook did give me a answer to that commentary about why the local priest.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I almost don't need to read it because if it's racy or bare flesh content, the horror of sin, which just it just sets me off because I'm sure this priest was up to all kinds of shenanigans. If the movie took that kind of a plot or took that plot direction.
Yep.
What else? Who finances the building of Cinema Paradiso after the fire? From the lottery winning, Chiso, like I had said previously, Sissio Spacificio.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Sources of funds. He's able to afford the reconstruction using his winnings from a football lottery, specifically identified in the sources as the sisal pools. Lottery win acted as a lucky strike that allowed the town's cinematic heart to beat again, transforming the moment of communal tragedy into a modern new beginning for the village of Giancaldo. This is what's also fun about Italian movies is like they get the point of the scene across and they immediately cut to something else. Like
Yep.
when he won the lottery, like he started yelling and I thought he died. He fainted.
He was so excited.
And then people in everyone on the town square was yelling about it, and then people in the theater were yelling about it. And then they jumped to something completely different. And it's only later on that you find out he buys the theater and passes or holds the license for the projectionist, which I thought was kind of funny that there was any kind of governing body that would care at that time and in that place who was running a projector in a dumpy little town in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
But yeah, just quirky little things about post-war Italy that just the way they present it in the film, like that somebody had to have a license for that, or like it was anything that would be governed or checked. Putting your nose in the mic there?
Yeah, I just had to reach down and itch my foot. A long way away from me.
Well, what I would say, like, I did enjoy it. I enjoy most of the movies that we see here, but if you're going to I would say watch the director's cut. And
if you like that, if you enjoy that, maybe watch the longer one.
Yeah, if you want a complete cycle to all the storylines, that'd be the one to watch. But what else haven't I touched on?
Well, regarding the different versions and the lengths of the cuts of the movie, I read here that Roger Ebert watched I just forgot my train of thought. Watched the first one and watched the second one.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, he watched the director's cut and then he watched the final cut, and he gave the director's cut, the shorter version, 3.5 out of 3.5 stars or whatever it is. And but then he watched the other one and he gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars, and he said that in the end he did enjoy the director's cut. That's a better movie than the
edited one, the theatrical one,
than the full length, like the longest one.
Oh, he liked the edited version better.
Yes, which I think is interesting because they have such weight when they review movies. So that was interesting.
I would not have thought that from Ebert.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting note to make.
Okay, if you want, I've got a honey-based recipe.
Oh, all right. Okay.
You'll like these.
Okay, just one thing.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't want
Go ahead.
Oh, regarding the film soundtrack, it's like one of like the top movie soundtracks of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And in my research, because I do love movie music.
Hope we're not getting a copyright strike for playing part of it at the beginning.
Two things. One is he also did the soundtrack for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
That makes sense.
Which I think is pretty cool. I have to listen to that and be like, do I recognize this? But anyway, and then also in another one of my favorite girly movies, as one might say, The Holiday. Jack Black's character plays a film composer, and he pulls up to the house that Kate Winslet is renting for the week, and he or 2 weeks, and he is playing this film soundtrack in his car, and she says like, "Oh, this is lovely. Did you write this?" And he's like, "Yes, I did." And then he's like, "No, just kidding. It's Ennio Morricone. Like, I couldn't do this." But so now whenever I watch that movie, I'll think of that, because as soon as it started playing when we were watching Cinema Paradiso, I was like, oh, very famous. So anyway, I just had to throw that in there for anybody who, also likes that movie.
Not that anyone cares, but
I thought it was really cool.
Luis has mentioned this movie many times. I have never seen it.
Which movie?
The Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
It's sitting next to your bed. Like, I
Yeah.
look at it all the time, and it's not.
I watched it already. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it.
Let's see here. You ready for a recipe?
It's like in the Family Stone category.
Well, that's going to be on the list sooner or later.
It's a good movie.
I believe you. All right. As always, brought to you, as they're all brought to you by heyhoney.biz. Hey Honey for all of your honey-based or flavored honey needs. Honey butter cornbread poppers. I might put this in the newsletter. This looks really good.
It sounds delicious.
It's like that cornbread. Did you have any of Jean's cornbread at the restaurant we went to?
I did. I had one piece, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it.
Oh, I loved them. This doesn't sound too far off, but the picture is striking. I might use this in the newsletter write-up. Makes 24 mini poppers. Again, visit heyhoney.biz if you want to use any honey for this recipe. Makes 24 poppers, 1 cup cornmeal, 1 cup all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon baking powder, salt. It didn't give you a measurement. I assume it's just to taste, just a pinch. 1 cup buttermilk, 2 large eggs, 1/4 cup unsalted butter melted, 1 cup sweet corn kernels, fresh or frozen, 1/2 cup shredded cheddar cheese, 1/4 cup honey for drizzling over the poppers for a sweet finish, 1/4 cup unsalted butter softened for the honey butter. Fresh chives or parsley for a garnish, optional. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Grease the mini muffin tin or use silicone molds for easy retrieval. So you're going to mix the dry ingredients first in a large mixing bowl. Cornmeal, flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Whisk until combined. Mix wet ingredients. Let's see here. Separate bowl. Buttermilk, eggs, melted butter until smooth. Combine the wet and the dry ingredients. Pour the wet into the dry ingredients. Stir until combined. Be careful not to overmix. Whenever they say that, I'm not sure what that means. Like, how do you know if it's overmixed or not? For those of you out there who do mixing, I don't. Fold in the corn and the cheese, adding beautiful yellow and orange hue to the batter. Fill the muffin tin. You spoon it in to the prep tin, filling each one about 2/3 of the way full. Remember, these are gonna puff up. You're baking for 12 to 15 minutes or until the tops are golden brown and a toothpick inserted to the center comes out clean. When you're making the honey butter, While the poppers are baking, you prepare the honey butter by mixing softened butter and honey together until creamy and smooth. You know what would work well with this is the hot pepper honey.
Okay.
Serve once the poppers are done. Let them cool slightly before removing them from the tin. Drizzle with honey butter garnish and fresh chives or parsley for a pop of green. Serve warm and enjoy. I know that podcasting is a visual medium and you can't see these things, but they almost look like little yellow
He means the listening medium.
What did I say?
Visual. Because you were thinking about
What
it
is the
not
matter
being a
with
visual
me?
meeting.
My God,
A visual
it's like I'm drunk.
doing.
And I'm not yet. These things look like this is a audio medium, not a visual one, but I'm looking at the recipe pictures here, and these poppers look like, you know what they look like, is little golden gulab jamun covered in honey.
It sounded like that from the recipe.
Oh man, these look good.
Can I see the photo?
Yeah.
Please. Oh yeah. Oh, they do look like
Gulab jamun, don't they?
the cornmeal in Madeira.
Yeah.
Oh, we should maybe try that.
Yeah, I'd make these. I'd make these for sure. I bet you could air fry them too. All right, guess what? We're about an hour, and I got to eat. So I got to pick on a movie, and I'll bring you another one next week.
Okay.
All right? Thanks
Sounds
for
good.
listening. Hugs and kisses, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for listening.
Toodles.
How long have you talked for?